Right. Hey, welcome back. All right, so Cancerians, let's take a look at the full moon message, which full moon is tomorrow. I know this is Wednesday night and not Tuesday. I'm supposed to try to adhere to our schedule of Tuesdays and Saturdays for my Cancerian videos. Hopefully, this being a little closer to the full moon will actually still be a good thing, but let's get into this. We have Wings of Light, becoming something new. Card number 42. Hi, Ian Bell. This is beautiful. So we have this fast moving energy. Now, this is particularly important because this full moon is known as the buck moon, because it is a time where the deer antlers are like in a big growth spurt. And we see her like moving like a kind of like the flash, like lightning speed, and that energy of wings of light becoming something new. I feel like we have a big transformation or transmutation. Now, usually these full moons, would be the energy of releasing something, bringing something to the surface, letting something go. But this feels like, I mean, if she's letting something go, it's letting go of her old self, right? It's her, shifting into her new energy. Hi, Nikki. Okay, so we have got some kind of wonderful going on here. We've got all kinds of wishes coming true. I feel like she's going to skyrocket into something. Okay, Four of Wands. We do have the Judgment card that is in the reverse as well. This is not something from her past. And that would make sense because look at how she's moving forward. Like, well, how would you even be, ending up in your past when you're going the speed of light? If anything, you are jumping to like new solar systems, right? And becoming something new. It makes sense that there is no reconciling with the past. There is no resurrection of past relationships or past people. This is a situation where I think Cancerian is achieving something huge in their lives. They're achieving a wish, a goal, a dream, and it's all about something that was up ahead for them. It's like, look, I'm not going to say that our Cancerian is going to have like a completely perfect life and everything that they've ever dreamed of, thought of, wanted is just going to be, dialed in to the most perfect, to the letter. But I will say, if Cancerian is like transforming themselves, transmuting their own energy, then the way they interact with their world is going to be different. The way they say, yes to some things, no to other things, that is also going to be much more probably authentic since they are transforming into who and what they choose to be now. I almost feel like we could be dealing with a Cancerian who maybe had a life where they were held down or held back for a really long time. The fact that they don't want something back from their past makes me think this was maybe a Cancerian who had like a not very supportive environment, whether that was a partner, whether that was a romance, whether that was a career path. This is a Cancerian who, I'm going to put it bluntly, they got more talent in their little pinky finger than the entire company they worked for, or they have more like beauty to them than the person that they were dating. And I'm so sorry, I'm not trying to say, oh, Cancerian's better than everybody. But I am going to say them moving forward and them not trying to make peace with the past or bring the past back or resurrect something and them actually achieving that Four of Wands. Yes. I mean, whatever Cancerian's environment was, it wasn't good enough for this Cancerian. Cancerian deserved this. Maybe they worked way harder. They deserved a better, work environment. Maybe they were more talented. They deserved, to actually be the person who like runs their own company. I feel like whatever Cancerian is leaving behind, and this is like a life change, but it can be a love change, it can be a career change. I feel like Cancerian's own ideas are worth more and they'll go further being in charge of their own, dreams and talents and goals. They will go further and be more successful with their own energy and endeavor than if they, like were under somebody else's jurisdiction. If this is a Cancerian like breaking away from a previous relationship and saying, you know what, I know we talked about trying to reconcile, trying to go to marriage counseling, couples counseling, therapy, whatever it is. You know what? I don't need to go to that. I already know I don't want that anymore. What I want is a different kind of relationship altogether. Why do I have to work on something? The reason it didn't work is because it doesn't work and I don't want it back. So can't I just move forward and go get what I do want? It's kind of like I'm a big fan of, I hang on to my cars way after I should because I get very attached. And finally, they nickel and dime me. Or, I mean, I have literally driven 3 cars literally into the ground. I drove them that long. And it was like, okay. And I fully intend to do that with one of my others that is very near and dear to me. I don't trade up when there's still, like, oh, well, it could have another 100,000 miles. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is going to be my 100,000 miles. Maybe now I'm down to like maybe only 10,000 miles, but this is going to be my 10,000 miles with my car. But when it's done, then I surrender it. When that's it, whatever, the head breaks or something, then okay, I'll let it go. When the timing chain breaks and chews up your head, then I let it go. And I just feel like this Cancerian is the type of person where, especially during this full moon, they're having this realization. It was, a cataclysmic event. Something was done. I don't want to try to repair it anymore. I don't need to. That's when they get maybe what they deserve, something better, something more aligned with who they are. So it does feel like breath of fresh air. It feels like there's new love. It feels like there's no taking back exes. There's no working out problems because they don't need to work through the problems. They need to be free of the problems. We have the Page of Swords. I keep thinking that Cancerian is jazzed because they're like, I get to pick new for myself. This is what I want to do. This is not a Cancerian that has to do this. It just happens to be that in this story, we have someone who is transforming and they are racing away from stuff that used to feel confining, relationships that weren't right, all those things. They're like, I don't have to fix it with you. I don't want to. I don't have to keep trying to make things work that I don't want to have work. I can just be free of them. Now I can look toward the new. This is exciting. We have a 4 of Pentacles. I really feel like this is, I'm going to say, the right kind of hoarder's energy, where it's like, this is my energy. I don't have to give it to you. I don't have to give to anything that I don't want to. And I think I'm going to be a little bit more protective over their time, protective over their heart, protective over information. They may not want to tell a bunch of people what they're going to do, what their life is made up of. I keep getting this vibe that maybe Cancerian was one of those amazing earth angels who did so much for other people, has helped so many people on this planet, has been the go-to person. You know how there's always one person in the office where it's like, if anybody is going to take vacation, if anybody is going to, beg off or be sick, pretend to be sick, claim they need to go home early, y'all know you can go to one person in the office and they'll be like, I'll cover for you. Sure, I'll stay late. I'll work a double. I'll come in on my weekend. I'll reschedule my family vacation so that you can take yours. And that person gets dumped on and dumped on and dumped on because everybody knows. They're like, well, I would want somebody to cover for me if it happened to me. But because they're the one person who will say yes, everybody goes to them. And I feel like that might have been a little bit of Cancerian. Cancerian could have been the person that a lot of people were like, oh, you donate to events and stuff, so everyone will hit up Cancerian. And now Cancerian's like, look, I like to know now. I'm pickier and choosier with where I put my time, my money, my energy. I like to know, who am I really covering for? Am I covering for the slacker at work who gets away with murder and makes the same amount of money that I do? Yeah, I'm probably not going to be covering for them anymore. I just feel like this is Cancerian protecting their energy, not to be stingy, but because this is the new upgraded 2.0 version of them where my life matters too. My happiness matters too. I don't want to give to really be happy. I don't want to overgive to people who want more of my time than what they should be allowed to ask me for. I don't want to be the go-to person. And I just kind of feel like with this 8 of Pentacles in the reverse, here's the magic trick to all of this. And this is one of the other things I think Cancerian has understood is if I make my own life so busy and so full, of things that I want to do. There's no way in hell I'm going to be working all that extra, shifts for other people, because it's like, oh no, I got my dance classes tonight. Oh no, I got this other stuff I'm doing tonight. Oh no, Wednesday nights are the nights that I do such and such. I'm not working late. I've got a life and it's mine. And I kind of feel like that's the first like mental upgrade. But also the trick to this is not only to have stuff that Cancerian wants to do, their own talents, gifts, hobbies, dreams, things that they want to see come true for themselves. But if Cancerian is like, I'm not saying be lazy and then people won't ask you to help, but Cancerian is saying, if I don't step up and do 15 million things for other people, they won't keep asking me to do it. If I don't put out all my energy, if I reserve my energy, if I don't be the person who comes up with all the solutions, so the boss already knows it doesn't matter that I didn't pre-think anything and now the company's in crisis, I can turn to Cancerian and they'll have probably worked extra hard this weekend and they'll have a solution for me. This is Cancerian stepping back and going, I don't know, you're the boss. You'll have to figure that out. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. That wasn't my task. That wasn't my duty. And I kind of think Cancerian is going to start to step back just a little and then see who steps up and figure out, like, have I been over helping and letting people basically piggyback on me? Or who's the slacker here? Or what is the real scenario going on here? I just think that Cancerian is learning. I need to observe when I step back what happens, because I kind of think this Cancerian has been doing a heck of a lot for everybody. And I just feel like this full moon is, I'm not going to say Cancerian is like they're becoming like, oh, I don't care about everybody else. This is all about me, all about number one. It's not that. Remember, it's that Cancerian is becoming something new. I think they've had it up to here with people assuming that Cancerian had like this label, like printed across their forehead, ask me for anything and I'll probably be the sucker who will do it for you. I think Cancerian is like, if that is how people, imagined my energy could be used, oh gosh, no. That's not who I am. I'm not sure what gave them that idea, but it's time to like course correct. And I think that is the thing. Now, it does come with needing to let go of maybe caring too much, because some people will not like it. If Cancerian's been doing a ton for others and now they won't let people come back, they won't keep doing what they've been doing, that kind of abrupt change could certainly throw other people off. Be like, wow, you used to always cover for me. Wow, you used to do these things for me. Wow, you used to be more generous. I think that could be something that during this full moon, if there's one thing for Cancerian to let go of, it's not to worry that other people won't really like it. And I think this is part of the, I'm going to watch and see how people behave. If they're only happy when they basically, get to squeeze my energy out of me and I bend over backwards and do everything they want, if that's the only way that they're happy with me, then I can probably do without those people in my life. I have to not care that some people won't be happy. And it could also be hard for Cancerian to like allow some things to fall apart so that it can be obvious who's not doing the job right. That can be really tough, And there are things that we don't let slide, right? Let's say you work in a medical industry, you're not going to let a patient suffer because like, well, that colleague, coworker's not going to, call that patient and remind them of their appointment, but I know they really need that appointment and we're super booked after that, but I know they didn't make those phone calls. It's like, no, we're going to take care of our patients, right? It's not like, well, I'm tough luck. I don't see Cancerian doing that, but I do see Cancerian like finding a way to root out where the problem is, and I just, going and saying, no, you didn't make those phone calls last night. Thankfully, I still did. But this has got to get reported now. Or, it just feels like Cancerian's kind of standing up for themselves. We got the Fool. I keep thinking Cancerian's going to be leaving a situation and going into something new. All of these cards say it's a new version of themselves. So they're behaving differently. But this actually says they might be doing something totally different. This is a card of balance in life and sometimes a card of love. So is there a new romantic partner coming in, or is Cancer finally going to go like out on a date when they haven't done that in a long time? Oh, we have the Lovers. That's very possible. This could definitely be Cancerian is going to, if they're finally breaking it off with somebody, and this could be an emotional tie, or this could be, oh, I'm not with my partner, my ex, but they still call me and they still come over 3 times a week, and they call me at 2 a.m. when they're sad, and blah blah blah. We're not together, but for all intents purposes, I still pick up some of the slack for them. Their car broke down. They called me first. I showed up for them. I'm not saying Cancerian is cutting somebody off cold turkey, but if this person is kind of abusing the, we'll say, friendship that was left behind out of a relationship that has, fallen by the wayside, I think this is Cancerian saying, no, I need all my energy for me now. You're going to have to learn to get along without me because we're not together. And I'm going out on a new date with somebody different, and I want to pick a new lover, and I want to bring them home. So you got to go. No, you cannot couch surf anymore. We're broken up. You're going to have to move out. If somebody's still, I don't know, this storyline gives me all kinds of ideas that Cancerian was being trespassed on in little ways, in big ways. And like my brain is flooded with all these little scenarios, big and small. And it just kind of feels like for Cancerian to allow themselves to have a schedule that's full of things that they want to do, to allow themselves to not be the person who has to be the glue for everybody else who's slacking off, and to allow themselves to close chapters so that they can open new doors. And just, this could be the mother or father Cancerian who's been so busy taking care of their kids, even though their kids are grown up enough now that they still haven't dated in forever. And they're like, wait a second, I was a single parent. I raised you. You guys are 15, 16, 20. You can do some things on your own now. Mama and Papa's going out on a date, like I'm starting to live my life again. It really feels like Cancerian has needed to allow themselves to live again. And that's exactly what's going on here. This is that the full moon is, I think, Cancerian letting go of their old persona, the old identity, the person that they used to have to rush around and be everything to everyone. They're realizing other people can probably handle things without me being there to scoop up when they do wrong. Because I think a lot of people have been slacking off because Cancerian was fixing things for them, was making sure everything went right. So they didn't have to. They didn't have to be responsible. And I think Cancerian got wise to that. So this full moon is about, I'm going out on a date. I might bring a date home. So you all can't be here anymore. No exes can be couch surfing here because I may have a new lover coming home. So no, my ex that doesn't pay rent, that I'm not with, that I'm not romantically inclined with, but who's still been here for 4 months after we broke up. No, you should go stay with your cousin, your brother, your sister, your somebody, but not me, because I have a new lover now. And you can't be here because that's going to be real freaking awkward. That's what this feels like. Again, I'm sorry. I'm just throwing out all of these kind of like extreme scenarios because this is about like, I get to kiss a new pair of lips. I get to explore love with somebody else, but I can't do it with other people in my way. And these other people in my way don't really have any business continuously eating up all of my time. So yeah, that's how it's changing. I really do love the changes in all of this. We've got a King of Cups sideways. Very nice. Very nice. If this is what Cancerian is welcoming in, it's time for me to date. It's time for me to welcome in someone that I want, something that I want. Here it comes. Here they come. I'm ready for this now. It's very, very nice. It's very powerful. It's somebody who I'm thinking, a King of Cups is emotionally available. By the way, great matchup for Cancerian, but very emotional, very fair and balanced. They want to give as much as they want to receive. Knight of Swords in the reverse, Empress in the reverse. There's no rush into this new relationship. So that is also a really important message. If Cancerian is about to take, a new step and allow themselves to start dating, this also says, We don't have to talk about forever right out of the gate. We can just slowly get to know each other. We don't have to rush this. We don't have to talk about our exes right away. We can just enjoy each other's company. Let's just make it about us. Let's just get to know each other. Let's just enjoy vibing a little bit instead of having to instantly, like, okay, so I'm going to say one last thing. God, I know I've been so mouthy in this, but I don't think Cancerian wants to open a can of worms of like, okay, so it's nice to meet you. We're going to start dating. We're having a good time. Now, go ahead and unpack all of your past traumas with your ex. Tell me every detail about your failed relationship. Tell me and, unload and unpack, and I'll be that emotional, dumping ground for you so you can walk away feeling light and fluffy. I don't think, look, I'm not trying to say that Cancerian is going to become somebody who's like, your past, your problems, don't dump them on me. I don't think it's that. I'm just thinking that in the past, Cancerian might have become that support network to everybody. And then it's like, wow, those lines just got blurred. I don't know how I date you when basically we're going to sit around and talk about your ex and how bad they were to you and how they were your karmic and how they took all your money and how blah, 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 blah. That if Cancerian meets somebody and they accidentally slip into the pattern of too much talky talk about the woes of the past, I think Cancerian has like an acute, like their little antenna is up now. And it's like, I'm going to get to know somebody slow because I want to make sure they're not brokenhearted over an ex. They're not boohooing over an ex. They're not going to dump their emotional unhealed traumas into a new relationship with me. So then instead of dating me, I'm their therapist or I'm their person who's supposed to, they're there. Let's talk some more about your ex. It's like, look, at some point you got to be healed up enough to just be with me and have moved on from your toxic ex. You can reference whatever happened, but don't dump all of it on me and keep it going, So I do think Cancerian is like, these are the red flags I look for, and I'm slow to get to know somebody, and I really do watch. I mean, come on, red flag, right? I'm slow in getting to know somebody because I need to know their red flags, and I can't do that overnight. So I like somebody, they like me, that's great. We get to know each other slow. I don't say you're wonderful, you're my everything, I'm in love with you, you can have my whole heart. And I don't want you to be too crazy about me yet either. We need to make sure we aren't full of red flags for each other. This just feels so like a Cancerian who's that they're done being who they used to be, and they ended up much wiser, still loving, still compassionate, but they have one standard that's new, which is don't do to me what I wouldn't do to you. Plain and simple. I think that is the mantra here. I don't want anybody doing to me what I wouldn't have done to them. If I have a bunch of coworkers that always use me to cover all their holidays, but they're pretty much slacking off, no, I wouldn't do that to you, so you can't do that to me. If I had a lover who doesn't care about anybody but themselves, nah, you don't get to come to me just because you know I'm caring. You need to go learn how to love other people and maybe learn how to heal yourself. I just think that this is the new standard, becoming something new. That was our first card. Douglas Adams, I love his writing. May he rest in peace. But he was hilarious and witty, and he wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that whole, trilogy of books. But in it, the number 42, keep in mind it's sci-fi and it's British humor and it's totally up my alley. It's everything that I love rolled into one. It's one of those books where I think I've laughed till I cried, laughed out loud so hard at his stuff. But the number 42 in one of his books, he has long story, but these mice make a computer that can generate answers to anything, including the answer to what is the meaning of life. And then there's all this fanfare and all of this, oh my gosh, what is the answer going to be? And they spit out 42. And that is it. That is the answer to the meaning of life. What is the meaning of life? 42. And again, it's quirky British humor. But 42, the only reason I mention that is because although I'm linking it to something hilarious and, tongue in cheek, at the same time, 42 is a pretty important number. 42's, maybe this is the meaning of Cancerian's life, was to become something new. They're a beautiful, loving, giving person, but they maybe like are fine honing that skill now. So very nice and still very balanced. That's what it looks like to me anyway. Sorry, this one got a little bit long, but oh my God, Astronoid, that's hilarious. That's so awesome. You were just going to tap 42, and we started this 24 minutes ago. That is awesome. Vandenka, happy Friday morning in Poland. Tammy Secord, great to see you. Pauline, how are you, sweetheart? I love that. This doormat has transformed into a magic carpet. So well said, Pauline. Samanita. You're eating hot Cheetos. That's hilarious. I haven't tried the hot ones. I like Cheetos in general. I like anything cheesy on chips. That's definitely, like, you can never eat one though, right? There's a, oh gosh, I think it's Barbara's jalapeno cheddar, like, the crunchy ones. They're not puffy like cheese puffs, but they're the really crunchy ones that look like tiny, like Neanderthal clubs. That's the only way I can say it. Those are my fave. Tammy Secord, good to see you. Oh, Brian S. I do it that way. So I'm a storyteller, not a psychic. So I don't adhere to like what other people do. I do it kind of my way. And I see messages in things very differently. But particularly sideways cards to me speak in two different ways. Usually it's either like something to a lesser degree, or it's shared energy. So that's how I interpret, because that's how it speaks to me. So it's just, however anybody sees things. With storytelling and with anything, it's, it's not a science. It's just how you interpret. So Tammy Secord, thanks again, honey. And Bradley Bear, good to see you. You're wearing your Addams Family, the Lover's Card t-shirt. I love that, Astronoid. That sounds like an awesome t-shirt. EM Val, thank you, hun. Violet, hi, sweetheart. So good to see you tonight. I invoked your beautiful name and all the other night owls in the previous video here. Happy weekend, Bogdanka. All right, you guys, have a wonderful evening. Oh, Brian, my pleasure. Thanks for popping in, hun. All right, you guys, sweet dreams for now. This is where we part ways. Bye for now.